So I spent a year traveling in a tuk-tuk, 3 countries, 7 borders, and 11,600 kilometers, and here's what I learned. This is Patty, that's Tori, and I'm Ryan, and we're attempting to be the world's first to drive Argentina to Alaska in a tuk-tuk. But to truly tell this story, we need to start from the beginning. March 17, 2023. I arrived to Bolivia, my Spanish was barely conversational, I had nothing more than a backpack and an ambitious idea that I'd buy a tuk-tuk and see how it goes. There was a lot of doubt between family and friends, and even more so when I had the newly acquired bucket of bolts, Tori, short for Torito. It was fortunately easy buying a second-hand tuk-tuk, but not so easy leaving the city after I found myself returning 3 separate times with mechanical issues.
I'm leaking like oil. ¿Escuchaste? Mal. Quería sacar la llanta.
Ese palanca aquí.
While waiting for repairs, I jokingly filmed a reel from the local taxi rank asking to buy their tuk-tuk. That went viral worldwide, but especially in Bolivia. Overnight, I went from being a random foreigner in Latin America to being recognized every time I went outside. This one 60-second video completely changed my life. Not just for the followers of the journey, but it caught the attention of the biggest tuk-tuk distributors across Bolivia. And within a few weeks, I had a brand new tuk-tuk.
Sobre su proyecto de esto de estar por todo el mundo.
While in contract discussions, I was volunteering at a local refuge and became attached to this little Doberman Patty.
If there's anything that we see in the blood work that we're gonna do,
We'll also let you know.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, she hasn't been sick since I've been here. She's always been playful, always been in good health, and so this must be something minor.
This is going to be her seat for the next few years, which is pretty epic. Hopefully she gets accustomed to it.
I don't know how you guys are gonna manage. I'm gonna have to move you a little bit, okay? How's she doing? She's good, right?
Yeah.
Driving south, May 22, 2023. After a bit of mechanical training, dog bonding, and test rides together, we finally set out on the adventure. Our travel began to take shape, and as a team, we started to figure out what each other needed. But it was definitely clear that we all preferred the freedom amongst nature, traveling off the beaten path and to some of the most rural places in Bolivia. My Spanish improved and my understanding for the country grew. We weren't just surviving, but we were thriving.
¿Dónde estamos?
Hierba buena militar.
Okay.
You can hear it in my voice that I didn't understand, although I really wish I did.
The main road here, chuck the indicator on, that's the way.
As I take a side road that I shouldn't be taking.
Stop off for some lunch. Yo. And I just saw a sign saying military zone. I gotta turn around. ASAP.
And I couldn't have chosen a better vehicle and companion for the journey. Our first border crossing, October 15, 2023. We always knew that there would be complications on this journey, but this one came out of nowhere. If it already wasn't stressful enough that this was my first border crossing with a vehicle and a dog, facing a multi-day protest blockade sure didn't help. And this one was special. For us to cross to Argentina, both sides of the border had to be clear, although both sides were protesting different issues, and the cold nights and uncertainty only made people waiting more aggressive each day.
¿Apostas con este vehículo? ¿Que es alquilado o no? ¿O es tuyo?
Mío.
Tuyo.
Soy el dueño.
In all of this, I didn't have vehicle insurance, I had overstayed my visa, and there was a government official reciting a law that stated a foreigner couldn't own a vehicle with a Bolivian number plate and leave the country. What an absolute mess that of course could have only ended the way it did, with a celebratory bonfire the night we crossed and truly solidified Bolivia in my mind as such an underrated country to travel through.
¡Pati! ¡Estamos aquí!
Highway blockades, November 12, 2023. Remember what I said about Argentina protesting a separate issue? The blockade wasn't just at the border, but also had cut off the main highway at 8 points along our route. These we found were more organized and fortunately scheduled blockade openings, sometimes hours apart, but other times days. So we got pretty good at circulating through them, but that wasn't until the 5th highway blockade. We had heard from locals about a gorgeous mountain town named Arusha, a day's drive off-road in the tuk-tuk. This was the furthest we'd ever been on dirt, and getting stuck out here would create huge issues.
La cosa es, no puedo cambiar las marchas. Es en segundo y necesito poner en neutral a empezarlo.
¿Y cuál cambio?
Esa.
Vamos, movámosla, movámosla.
Ey, relax, relax.
Movámosla. Para arriba, ¿no?
Sí, sí. Lo ves cambiando. Relax. Gente están ayudando a nosotros, che. Sos una leyenda, amigo. Qué locura. Sos increíble. No, amigo. Gracias, gracias. Wow.
Local help eventually got us to the town, and with $10 to our name, we needed cash out desperately. The highway blockades had caused it to be too dangerous for money trucks to pass through, and the town we had arrived to had only one bank and it was completely empty. We could barely afford the fuel and the campsite for the night and had to return to the highway the next day.
¿Cómo?
Págueme, pues, quiero gaseosa para mis chicos, pues, salgan, no ve.
Dinero. No tengo nada, perdón. No tengo nada. What is this? That was so unnecessary. Where she was like, do you have anything? No? And then she just put the sheep on the road and said, F you. Oh man. Relax, está bien. We're okay. We're okay.
So again, a full day's drive off-road where we midway through tried to palm off a dog from Patty's breakfast and I got bit in the hand.
And I think it's just a mixture of the cold and it's like somewhat deep. Oof.
Tengo una pomada cicatrizante.
No quiero cicatriz. Okay.
Claro, para que seque.
Okay. Uf.
Qué jodido ese porquería, se metió ahí por la comida.
Sí, sí, exacto. Y estuve estúpido para eso.
Mira.
¿Así?
No, ahí nomás.
¿No? Con eso también.
Con eso. Sí.
Re bien.
Así no, con eso nomás te va. A ver.
Gracias.
There was a lot of blood and a local bandaged me up just enough for me to continue driving down now the road. Patty, hey, relax. No, hey, Patty, relax. Relax. You okay? One positive to bleeding out is that the protesters let us cross through the blockades. What a stressful time. The split. January 13, 2024. A couple months of gorgeous travel through Argentina later, and my visa was set to expire in 10 days. For the first time, I planned a little so that we could have a solid amount of time to organize the documents before we crossed to Chile. That was until a vet told us that the vaccines Patty had were missing signatures and therefore wouldn't be valid. It wasn't harmful for Patty to get them again, although it meant that she couldn't leave the country for 21 days until they had become effective. This meant she was trapped and I was forced to make a border run to a new country that had never seen a tuk-tuk before, alone. This was a very stressful situation and not one I want to live again, because the possibility loomed that I wouldn't make it back so quick. Fortunately though, everything went sweet and we crossed into Chile together to continue south after she was cleared.
Let's go, baby! We're in country number 3. Chile, we've arrived. Patty's third country. Tori, the tuk-tuk's third country.
And Chile really was something. Everything from gorgeous coastlines to vivid forests, wild camping. We really love the freedom. Winter is coming, April 17, 2024. After a fortunately uneventful return to Argentina, we've been wild camping more frequently than usual and often woke up to a frosted over tent and tuk-tuk as we entered the Patagonias. This is quite a change for Patty especially, who had only ever seen the sun growing up in Bolivia and was battling a cough that lasted days. We were urged to find a vet as it potentially could have been something far worse, pneumonia. Thankfully, with the rest and antibiotics, she recovered quickly and we headed rapidly south to begin the adventure from the southernmost city of Argentina. But this is really the official start for the three-wheel dream. The adventure that will take us to the most northern point of Alaska, crossing through 23 different countries. The idea is to spend about 3 months in each to get a feel for the locals, the landscape, the culture, and that estimates our arrival to be about 5 years' time to Alaska. My route firstly through South America isn't the most conventional, but will take us through the majority of the continent. My goal is to never put Patty in a plane, hence my cross through the Darien Gap into Central America. which then leaves our distant route into North America as quite an unknown. We've already lived so much together in these last 12 months, and to say that you guys are still early on this adventure is quite hard to fathom. Will we make it? Let us know in the comments below, and give us a like and subscribe so you can follow us along on this journey. We drove a tuk-tuk to the bottom of Argentina, and we learned that Alaska is a long bloody way from where we are. What a day, what a day. What a day, Pati. So that's episode 0 done and dusted, a bit of a trailer for what's to come, what we just lived. Episode 1 starts Sunday. Get keen. Oh my goodness.